And your sisters in mental illness are back.
Hi,
And
we're
we're
back.
here. We're back.
And we're medicated.
And motivated.
And motivated.
Hashtag. I think this is probably going to be one of the most important things that we talk about because there's a lot of problematic things that actually well-meaning, loving people say. I mean, there's really jerks too, absolutely. But there's people that love us and love Jesus and know tons of people that are mentally ill and still think that certain things are helpful that are absolutely not. Can you share some things that you think are problematic?
Okay. So I'm going to try really hard. Listen, I just want to preface this by saying, like, if you have said these things,
Yes.
it's okay. I mean, it's not okay. But, like, just stop.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not asking you to, like, I'm not trying to shame anybody. And I have said problematic things in my life on a number of occasions. And, you know, just don't. So the first one, I think, for me, the reason, right, is that I didn't seek help for so long is I was like, if I just cling tight enough to Jesus, if I just have enough faith. So depression is not a symptom of a lack of faith. That turns out a lie from the pit, and it needs to go back there. Like, depression is not a symptom of lack of faith. Depression is a symptom of not enough serotonin in your body.
Damn.
And so don't tell people, you know, that joy is a fruit of the Spirit, and so if they just practice their faith better, then they will be healed. Because I can't practice my faith better unless I'm on meds. So that's my first one. What's your first one?
Absolutely. Right there. Bam. And I mean, I've been gifted verses, beautiful verses.
Mm-hmm.
Do not be anxious in anything and all things. I've been to a lot of sermons that are very faith versus fear. And there's only two. And if you have this, you don't have this. And if you have this, you don't have this, right? And I feel ill in those type of sermons that don't take into consideration. Like you said, it's a medical thing. And I've started to try and talk about it in medical terms. Like one of the things that I overproduce is cortisol when I'm hypomanic. So cortisol is a stress hormone. So I overproduce it. So I go from, in any situation, something where it would be like a bear is chasing you, you overproduce cortisol so that you can fight, freeze, right? We might be talking about, I don't know, the latest shampoo, and all of a sudden I might get like that. You're not a bear. Like, this is not. So it's not like I sit at home and I'm afraid of, certain things. That it might manifest in people that way, but I'm not fearful in certain things like public speaking, like some things that you would think that an anxious person would fear. My body just produces these things and it comes out of nowhere. Like it could, yes, it happens in situations that are scary, or I can think, like read an article on Facebook about how pumpkin spice actually has something toxic in it, and I pretty much have drank so much, so I'm goner, whatever. Like pumpkin spice has done me in. Thank you for sharing that article. Thank you so much.
Right, I'm planning my funeral right now. It's over.
What else? So I'm acting like someone that's being chased by a bear or running out of a house on fire, and so I've tried to talk about it in medical terms so that people can see it that way. And I think that's the number one thing for me is, yes, absolutely. And of, telling you different things like, I had a friend that someone tells me their friend wrote out scripture for a year over and over again, and they were miraculously better. Well, writing out scripture and memorizing scripture, absolutely.
Right. Those are good things.
Those are good things, but a clinically mentally ill person, that's it's not going to go away.
Right.
And I think my second one is, telling me things I should try.
I was about to say that.
To go out more, or if you exercise and eat, and yes, all these things, absolutely. But do you not think that I have not tried everything I possibly could? Right? Like, oh yeah, going for a walk. Shucks, I never thought of that. Right? Or offering me things instead of coming alongside me, because when you offer me things, you're telling me I don't know, I feel like there's this underlying thing that I can fix myself. Therefore, this is my problem and my choice, and I'm choosing to be like this.
Well, and I think that's really important, right? Because I think some people come to you thinking, oh, I love her and I want to help her. But what I hear is you telling me that I haven't tried hard enough. So I understand that usually comes from a good place. And I'm about to say something that's going to make people sad, and I'm sorry. And also I'm going to say it. I like essential oils, and I use essential oils in my home, okay? They don't cure my depression. And I love you. Some of my best friends sell essential oils, and I'm not trying to hate on you. But I tried that and I use them, but not for that. And I need you, or if you're selling something, and I know that very many people are selling something because it works for them, because they love it, because the product is awesome. I'm fine with all of that. It is inappropriate to ask me to try it to cure my depression. It is. And I need you, because what I hear from you is that I haven't tried hard enough. Even if that's not what you're trying to say, that's what they're going to hear.
Yeah.
So you need to, and I'm not saying nobody can say anything about it, because my husband and my sister, they absolutely can tell me when my meds are off and that I'm depressed. But that's a very close circle.
Yeah.
And that's a very tentative conversation. And if you know those people, the person that you're talking to already has those people, right? Like Shaley and I are already managing our meds, our depression. We have found something that works for us. We're good.
Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. Like the drinks and could they make things a little bit better? Could they? Yes. And actually, I love essential oils too, but you're right. When you're clinically depressed, or you have bipolar or OCD or an eating disorder, you're going to hear that, one, there's something really wrong with you. And I also feel like if it doesn't work, like if I try it and then it doesn't work and I have to tell you, I'm going to be from one set of crazy to even, another set. And I think you brought up something important too. And I think that's something that I want to be sensitive to, because I know it sounds like we both have a strong support system. And I think many people do not.
Right.
And that is hard.
Oh, it's so hard. Oh my gosh. It's so hard.
I don't know if I would be okay without, my, so, yeah. So I think that if you see a friend or you notice a difference in behavior, there's a difference between trying to help and coming alongside.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Trying to help, it's, hey, I'm all good. You should be like me. And then
here are your solutions. Yeah. Instead of saying I've noticed that you are struggling, and I would like to help you in that struggle.
Yeah. And the reason I want to help you is because I love you, not because I want to fix you.
Right. Because those are not the same.
No. I think, I think another problematic thing, and I think that also has to go with those things, is like sending articles. You could just no.
That's never happened to me, but I'm very grateful.
Yeah, sending
that is not a thing that's happened to me.
There's someone lovely. I love you. If you're watching this, I love you. But that compiled an like amazing resource list that they thought of miraculous like healing, and that was unhelpful. And it just made me feel when I hear about those things, or when I another thing is I feel like in the church, when we do talk about mental illness, in my experience, I'm sure there are many churches doing things right. I absolutely believe that. But I think there are many women's events or, Christian gatherings where the people with mental illness share after they've gone, like it's always tied up with hope. It's always, so when you're sitting there, you don't have that. And you don't see in any foreseeable situation that you will have your bow. It's not.
Right. So I just want to speak into this from a place of, I had fibromyalgia for 13 years, and I was miraculously healed of that. And I tell almost no one because I had been scarred by so many stories of miraculous healing that instead of just becoming like a story of this thing happened to this person, it became like, so Abby, if you could just be like this person, then you too would be healed. And I do still believe that Jesus heals. I mean, like I had the whole thing, the vision, the whole thing. And so I know that God does that. And also in this particular case for me, God used a modern medical miracle. And also my American insurance covers it, which is another whole other miracle, let's be honest.
Yeah, Canadian too. We're really sorry if you're in a place that it doesn't, but please spend the money.
Right. Or there are resources.
Absolutely.
There are resources that will help you find the money. And in fact, someone I was following on Twitter the other day was just like, hi, I have extra money. If you need help with your meds, let me know. I was like,
no.
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think too, if we start dealing, with this problematic responses, I think that's what's gonna get kill the stigma. And the stigma, I think that in churches, in everywhere, if we're talking about it like we're talking about, a sore leg or a hospital visit or like fibromyalgia, like all these things, if we talk about it like that, then it's going to be normalized, and then more people are going to talk about it. And I firmly believe that we need to be talking about it in all stages.
Right.
Absolutely. I have people say to me, why do you keep talking about this on the internet? Like, people know, and I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm not going to stop talking about it until I don't need to talk about it, because everybody talks about it.
Right. Or like, why are you still talking about this on the internet? Well, if it's weirding you out, then we still need to talk about that.
Exactly. Like, do I wish we didn't have to? Yeah.
Right. Wouldn't it be great? I mean, because I know I keep going back to it, but nobody talks about nearsightedness on the internet. No one is like, listen,
yeah,
if you cannot see, it's okay. You should just get glasses, and no one should shame you for that. Nobody has to say that.
Oh, you're totally right. No, you're not going to write a SheLoves post on nearsighted.
On the day I got contacts, like.
Right? Yeah, that's really true. And I think my challenge is I want to do that. like, it's just, I think it's just in us that you want to, at the end, give the glimmer of hope, and I think that we're not realizing that it actually doesn't give hope. It feeds into, the shame and the guilt, and the feelings like you're not trying enough. And I hope that, I'm seeing that there's more things with panels and, talking about grief or these kinds of things right in it. And I mean, I even struggle with that. It's harder for me. My meds, like my depression is good, like on meds. There's still, I am not completely done with the hypomania. It's like muted, but I still, like, I'll get quickening in my chest, and I get, really fired up, and I can still get frustrated because I think really, really fast. I can still get frustrated with people close to me that they haven't got there. Like, they're like, hold up, what are the steps? Like, how did you get from here to here? Or that kind of thing. So I haven't, and so it's easier for me to talk about the depression because I don't feel it anymore. It's harder for me to talk about the hypomania because that, and also that's talked about less. We're getting a bit better about depression, right? But if you look on TV, if you look on anything, the bipolar person, like, I just get so frustrated, and I think that's why I keep making videos, because what I wouldn't have given when I first got my diagnosis to see a person, like a live person, talking about it, and and not someone talking about it from, as a person that's done something wrong, or they must be bipolar. I thought of one more problematic thing.
Yes.
And I've done it, and it's hard, is language. Oh, I couldn't make a decision. Oh, I'm so bipolar about this. Or she's so up and down, she's so bipolar. Or, oh, I like a clean house and kind of OCD about it. Or I can't focus. I'm so ADHD.
Oh, they ran out of my favorite soda, and I'm so depressed. They're not depressed. You're bummed. They're different.
And I think it's in, it's embedded in things, but I actually, like, it almost knocks the wind out. Like, I'm just like, how would that feel? I mean, I have people in my family that struggle actually full on ADHD, and it is not just be able to not focus, right? Like, there's so much more than that. And I think that one we use a lot, and the OCD one. And we need to just stop.
If we could just choose a different word.
Right? And I think, like, I've had that, I've even said, when I've tried to talk, for like, until this probably like last year and a half or so, I always said, I have a mood disorder, or I struggle with anxiety and depression, because the bipolar people are like, the word just
freaks people out.
I feel like that one isn't, right? It freaked me out. I had this reaction where I was so grateful to finally be able to put a name to it, but then the word is terrifying.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Can you think of anything else? I think that's a lot of problematic things.
I think that's I think we're good.
And I think, we're going to mess up. And I think that there's a lot of grace. There's a lot of grace.
Right.
I can feel your heart, but you got to try. You
right.
You got to try and eliminate, if you're using the language, or stop sending things. If you want to send me a card or like a latte, awesome.
Right.
Don't send me that kind of thing. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that was helpful. Next video, we're going to talk about things that are not problematic, and things that really, really, really help. So I hope you're right.